the UP Gramin Bank. From state side, Karnataka and Uttarakhand, and from SLBC, Uttarakhand and Rajasthan SLBC convener. So, sir, now to you, sir.
Thank you. So, in several ways, the discourse that we've had this morning has been leading up to this topic, which is the all important issue of being able to give loans to people against their property cards. Try not to repeat what has already happened in the morning. That way, we leave more time for the open questions at the end. And I would start with the bankers. So the broad areas of discussion, as have been spelled out to you, are four, which are there in the last column. I would first invite the Indian Bank to make your submission, please.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Pankaj Tripathi from Indian Bank. Uh, since morning, we have been talking about Swamitva card. So many things have been discussed. Various issues have been flagged. All the dignitaries from central government, state government, and the bankers have brought out various points which need to be addressed. We talked about a survey which is done in some states and is being done in other. Title, clear title should be there, ownership, etc. It will be established through survey, possession, gram pradhan, and others. Registration of the title property. No provision probably till now that a property card can be a valid document for mortgage. It has not been established. No provision is there as per the extant guidelines till now, which we had been discussing that if it could be done, we will not be. It would not be required for any other documents. For there won't be any requirement for any other documents for the mortgage. Then charge creation is definitely must in the era of electronic loaning, which banks are not trying for various types of loans. Actually, even home loan are now being tried for through electronic mode. Even gold loan we are doing through electronic mode. So charge creation is must so that uh, whenever the document or the property card or whatever the document abadi area land is coming to us for the mortgage, we should be able to create charge. In from Madhya Pradesh, the government official which had come, they had categorically mentioned it in their this in presentation also that it is being done through API or UI, user interface. That was a very good thing. We should be taking it a little further ahead for by various all the states, but other important issues are also there for better implementation. The scope of using property card as collateral for bank finance, point number 1, which was there for panel discussion 3. Definitely we are not denying, as a banker we are not denying that this property card or any other legal document cannot be taken as collateral as far as our extant guidelines and regulations by various state governments and central government are amended well, so that this can be taken care of. We still need some amendments. In the past also, in last 2-3 years, there had been various committees, expert committees on Swamitva card, etc., where the points have been drawn regarding this particular thing also. So till now, of course, using property card as collateral has not come up very well. It has to be established. Need for safeguarding banks' interest. When record of rights will be there, property card or any other document which would be legalized for mortgage. Point number two. Point number three, a valid point. Various people out here has have already touched that point. Valuation of the land. There should be some established guideline, established norms how these valuations would be done. All these things would be there if it is covered under SAFESI. It can be mortgage. Then obviously bank's interest would be safeguarded. Obviously, we really need good quality loans, and for a particular scheme or for a particular product, if a collateral is needed, obviously we need clear title, documents for mortgage, whether it would be equitable or registered mortgage, and then in case a loan turns bad, then obviously we should be able to safeguard our interest maybe through SAFESI Act. If collateral is there, then definitely we need modifications out there. Need for internal scheme interest subvention, etc. Obviously this would be done from central government or state government to make the product or make this particular thing, property card, more implementable, more usable. Obviously it is needed, at least in the initial phases. It will be welcomed by the bankers fraternity. The other important issues which may be very small, however, I would like to point out is that for charge creation and removal of charges, the amount needed should be small, which should be decided by the state government. It should not be in a hefty amount. Stamp duty required for lien or mortgage, whether it is equitable or registered, should not be an exorbitant fee by various state governments. It can be debated by various state governments that it is a revenue which would be in our favor, obviously. But then in those states, this particular concept will be, looking at various barriers for which will be degrading its growth. Then obviously stamp duty, which would be required for lien mortgage, should not be exorbitant. As in Maharashtra, Shri Vishnu Shinde, Deputy Director, Land Revenue Records, in his presentation has categorically mentioned that if it is a residential Abadi area property card, the mortgage stamp duty is less, but if it is for industrial or commercial purpose, it would be high. That's a very good idea, and it is being done. It's not an idea; it has already been done. So that can be replicated in other states. This is a value addition, obviously. Then various people have touched it. Value assessment of Abadi area and etc. Like in Gujarat state is doing something on it. They have already done it. So each and every state should come out with its framework to assess the value of the land. Another point which is very important is the saleability of the Abadi area. It is questionable as of now. As of now, we do not have a big market. I do understand, I do agree. As we will implement it, definitely the market will grow. The transactions right now are less, and hence the valuation of that particular asset is also cannot be assessed very well. Agreed. But then you will understand that if marketability of that particular area is not there, what we will do if our loan turns bad? The bank's interest will not be safeguarded in that particular situation. And then definitely I would request everyone to put thoughts to it, so that as I said that definitely when the concept will be on the road, then market will be developed, self-developed also. But initially we should think of something that there should be a market, maybe supported by state government, obviously, state government, district authorities, so that under auction we also get something against that particular asset. Those are the points from my side. Thank you so much.
Ye-
Thank you.
Thank you. I will request the Canada Bank now. Try not to repeat the points that have been made already.
Sir, good afternoon to all of you, sir. So let me tell first with Karnataka state, sir. First state to digitalize all land records. 3.20 lakhs property cards issued by the government, sir. And it is remaining also will be shortly issued fully, sir. First state wherein each and every branch has given access to create charge online, sir. So need not go to registration office. Branch managers, they themselves can create charge creations. That is there in Karnataka. Sir, coming to, I want to come in a different way, sir. Regarding internal scheme or interest subvention and any specific product to be created. I don't feel, sir, any product or interest subvention scheme is required. Existing products of the banks can be realigned to all these schemes for this body customers, sir. Coming to the scope of using property card as collateral security, sir. Whether it is a prime property or collateral security, there is absolutely no problem on the part of the bankers to finance against those properties, sir. I was having some initial hesitation whether it is prime security or collateral security. If it is a that security has been defined as a rural property or not. If it is a rural property, it is a residential property or commercial property. So all these things will come into play. But the morning discussion, it was amply made it clear. It is agriculture property, non-agriculture property. Hence, non-agriculture property is eligible for SARFAESI Act. Absolutely no problem in enforcing SARFAESI Act. Coming to safeguarding banks' interests, I want to say four aspects of in banking interest in this. One is the legality of the title. Say any law, any act which defines and gives sanctity to this property card, title legality is enough for bankers to finance against them, sir. Absolutely no problem. All those provisions as per state laws to be taken care of with it. Coming to next, after legality, accessibility, sir. As told by one of our GM, sir, physical demarcation, accessibility to the property to be there. It is there, sir. It is clearly given in the property card also maps. But only thing I want to add one thing, sir. Boundaries to be given to each and every property, sir. Boundaries. So registration of mortgage will not be done in registrar office without boundaries, sir. That we are facing. If it is also given boundaries, sir, that will be a good advantage for us to create mortgage and anything in the registrar office, sir. And regarding valuation, I need not tell. So many things have come into play. So many concepts that will be taking care of it, sir. Regarding valuation also, sir, if the customer is going for any project, we are going to take a proposed value addition in that land, sir. After that also will be taking into account factoring in security value of that property after giving loan. Only if he goes for collateral security only, that valuation per se comes into place. That is one thing. Coming to other aspects, transferability of the property. If any law act defines regarding mortgage, charge or sale or purchase, transfer of this property, absolutely no problem for bankers to extend finance against this. So relevantly, accordingly, all those laws to be changed and accordingly to be conveyed, sir. And the final aspects of bankers is recoverability, sir. This recoverability, I can develop on three things, sir. Whether property is saleable or not. But as per Surface Act, it is going to be applicable. As far as possible, it can be saleable. So absolutely no problem. Except some what our Indian banks are still, where some problems, some areas regarding marketability. If that is taken care, here also it is a well clearly defined regarding recoverability and saleability of the property. And the Surface Act eligibility and enforceability already defined, sir. It is eligible. Nothing to discuss here. Only one more request here, sir. CERSI registration, sir. Security interest creation by way of CERSI. Here it has to be clearly brought out by regulators and government, sir. If that security interest also created, then it is absolutely no problem for bankers, sir. As our lien or interest is noted against that property in the revenue records. Sir, with this I want to close, sir. My request to is comprehensive guidelines by regulators down the lines to be given, sir. One foolproof document regarding these Abadi lands. And one checklist complying with all the laws, sir, in different states. May be given to all the relevant players, sir, enlisting all the laws, sir, regarding legality, accessibility, transferability, recoverability, saleability, and QR code to be given for each and every Abadi property, sir, so that duplication can be avoided. And one more thing, as already discussed, sir, these customers to be brought into under the fold of FI purview, sir, and target to be given to each and every banker to finance under these aspects. Thank you,
Brought
sir.
under the fold of what? Sir side. Achha, sir side.
Thank you very much.
So we are done. You can carry on. Ratna Bank.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Sorry for the delay. Let us hear from Pratham UP Grameen Bank.
गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल। सुबह से इसमें बहुत से डिस्कशन हो चुके हैं सारे पॉइंट्स पे। उन पॉइंट्स को मैं नहीं कवर करना चाहता हूँ, ऑलरेडी डिस्कस हो गए हैं। जो हमारा बोर्ड एरिया ऑफ डिस्कशन है हमारी इस पैनल का, करंट स्टेटस ऑफ एप्लीकेबिलिटी ऑफ सरफेसी एक्ट इन रूरल एरिया। रूरल एरिया और सरफेसी एक्ट रूरल एरिया के हिसाब से नहीं है, वो एक एग्रीकल्चर लैंड में यदि है तो लागू नहीं है। एग्रीकल्चर रूरल एरिया में भी यदि लैंड जैसे बताया था पहले 143 हो गया या उसमें आबादी है, उसमें आबादी दर्ज हो गई है, तो वहाँ पे सफिशिएंट लागू होता है, सब्जेक्ट टू उसमें डिमार्केशन ऑफ लैंड वहाँ पे हो, उस पे एक्टिविटी हो रहा है जहाँ पे आबादी है, तो उससे यहाँ पे रूरल एरिया में होने या ना होने से फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। नंबर दूसरा पॉइंट है इसमें रेगुलेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट और इन्फोर्समेंट ऑफ सफिशिएंट इन आबादी एरिया। आबादी एरिया में है तो सफिशिएंट इन्फोर्स होगा, उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, इसमें कोई चैलेंज नहीं है उसमें जो है। नंबर 3 सेफ नीड फॉर सेफगार्डिंग ऑफ बैंक इंटरेस्ट। जहाँ तक बात है एग्रीकल्चर रूरल एरिया में जो बात हो रही है लोन देंगे, अभी इन्होंने भी उठाया था इस पॉइंट को, तो यदि कोई रिपेमेंट नहीं होता है तो इट इज नेक्स्ट टू इम्पॉसिबल कि वो उस प्रॉपर्टी को बेच सकते हैं, सफिशिएंट लागू होता हो या ना होता हो। आज केसीसी में आप कितनी जमीन बेच पाते हैं? नंबर ऑफ अकाउंट्स एग्रीकल्चर में जितना मास एनपीए बैंक में है, किसी बैंक का भी एनपीए उठा के देख लिए 10 डबल डी से नीचे नहीं है एग्रीकल्चर में। और 3 तरह के बारोवर्स हैं, एक तो वो हैं जो जेन्युइन है, जिनके पास पैसा नहीं है, देने में सक्षम नहीं है, चलिए मानते हैं उनको। कुछ ऐसे हैं जो सक्षम नहीं होने के बाद भी अपनी जमीन बेच के खुद भी या इन ऑनेस्टली जमा करते हैं, पर मेजॉरिटी ऐसे हैं जिनके पास सक्षम है, देने से सक्षम है, फिर भी नहीं देते हैं। वो जानते हैं कि यहाँ पे कोई हमारा कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाएगा, और बाद में 10 लाख का लोन लेते हैं और 10 साल बाद में 10 लाख भी कम्प्रोमाइज करते हैं। वो भी तब करते हैं जब उनको कहीं और से लोन लेना होता है और उनको होता है कि अब यहाँ से लोन नहीं मिल पाएगा हमें, या मैं सिविल खराब हो गई हमारी, तो किसी तरह से काटते हैं और ओटीएस करते हैं उसको जो है, या फर्दर लोन लेना होता है। तो जब आज केसीसी में कोई भी लैंड नहीं बेच पाते हैं और हमारी रिकवरी हमें मालूम है उसके पास पैसा है सक्षम में देने में, फिर भी वो नहीं दे रहा है, हम कुछ नहीं कर पाते हैं क्योंकि हमारे कोई सपोर्ट नहीं है। तो ये जहाँ पे उसमें पैसा लिया, जहाँ पे रह रहा है, उसको हम कैसे बेच सकते हैं? और उस गांव में कौन लेगा उस मकान को? उसी गांव में उसी आबादी में रह रहे हैं जो, कोई दूसरा आदमी उसमें लेने तैयार नहीं होगा जब तक कि कोई ऐसा ना हो कि कोई दूसरा जो अपोनेंट हो, जो ताकतवर हो, जो उसको लेना चाहता हो कि हम ले लेंगे, तो चलो हम ले लेंगे, तब ले सकता वो, ये तो नहीं लेगा बिल्कुल जो है। तो ये चीजें हैं इसमें जो प्रैक्टिकल जो उसमें प्रॉब्लम है। और जैसे लोन जब बैंक देता है, 2 तरह के लोन देता है, तो प्रोडक्टिव लोन देता है जहाँ पे फर्दर इनकम जनरेट होगी, उससे रिपेमेंट करेगा आदमी जो है। और एक होता है जो कंजम्पशन हाउसिंग लोन है, कंजम्पशन लोन है, उसकी देने की क्षमता होगी तभी लोन ले पाएगा वो। क्षमता कैसे निर्धारित करें? जैसे हाउसिंग लोन हम देते हैं उसमें हम आईटीआर के आधार पे रिपेमेंट उसी निर्धारित करते हैं, कितनी इनकम में कितना दे सकता है वो। अब रूरल एरिया में आईटीआर मिलेगा नहीं आपको, इनकम सर्टिफिकेट या तो तहसीलदार से बनवा लाएगा या कोई रेवेन्यू अथॉरिटी बना देगी उसको जो है, उस असरटें उसको कितना बैंक मान पाती है नहीं मान पाती है। तो रिपेमेंट बड़ा बहुत इसमें जो है रिस्की होता है, जो है रिपेमेंट कैसे आएगा इसका जो है। तो ये बैंक का इंटरेस्ट इसमें सेफ गार्ड यदि कोलेक्टर के रूप में आप सेफ गार्ड कर लेंगे, सरफेसी लागू कर देंगे, वो सब ठीक है। प्रॉपर्टी की आप लीगल इंटैचमेंट दे देंगे, लीगली वो है, वैलिड है, आप कोर्ट में चले जाएंगे, जो भी है उसको रियलाइज करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया हालत में। इसी वजह से अभी हमारे यहाँ बैंक में पहले एक रूरल हाउसिंग की स्कीम थी, वे 2-2 लाख तक के हम रूरल हाउसिंग देते थे। 95% से ज़्यादा अकाउंट उसमें एनपीए है, एक पैसा रिकवरी नहीं है। वो तब रिकवरी आती है जब उसको कहीं पे दोबारा लोन लेना होता है और उसकी सिविल जब खराब होती है तब आके जमा करता है और वो फिर फर्दर लोन लेता है जो है। तो कोई आदमी जमा नहीं करता उसमें पैसा जो है। नीड फॉर सेपरेट प्रोडक्ट टू कैटर टू रूरल पॉपुलेशन विद स्पेसिफिक सोशियो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस, तो इसके लिए डेफिनेटली जो हमारा जनरल हाउसिंग लोन है उससे अलग कोई स्कीम ऐसी बनानी पड़ेगी जिसमें उसको कुछ इनकम भी जनरेट हो और उससे रिपे भी कर सके। ऑनेस्टली यदि देना चाहे तो वो जो है उसमें इस तरह से लोन देना पड़ेगा कि साथ में उसकी इनकम भी जनरेट हो उससे और उससे कुछ लोन रिपे कर सके, कुछ पैसा हाउसिंग में यूज करे, कुछ प्रोडक्टिव यूज करे और सिक्योरिटी को रख के उस पर लोन ले सके जो। थैंक यू।
Thank you. We'll respond, we'll discuss the all the issues at the end. May I request UP State Cooperative Bank to respond? हुई है क्या? नहीं है, ठीक है। बड़ौदा यूपी ग्रामीण बैंक?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
या गुड आफ्टरनून।
Sir, my friends, colleagues have already shared. Just to not to repeat the points, no doubt about the applicability of the SARFAESI Act. Main thing is like conversion. If conversion is possible, then applicability is no issue. But regulatory requirement, as one of our colleague has said, SARSAI, because it is a rural property, urban, it has to be clearly defined. Whether it is to be, because if clear cut numbering is there, then SARSAI registration is required. That is, and clear ownership and with demarcation. And the procedure for, if it is a state act, like how to determine the clear cut mutation of property either through sale or through transfer or by succession planning, every state has to enact a rule, because unless and until right now, if it is in rural area, uh, earlier we have discussed, the transfer is not happening in much larger scale. As such, the valuation is also not be of. So clear cut rule of how property can be transferred from one individual to other either through sale or through succession planning. That rule is required. For banker safeguarding regarding this property is clear cut identification either through QR code system or any other, that all the states should adopt. As regard to applicability, pretty particularly this will be in rural area. Basic consumption need or production need of like food processing or other thing, or for that I don't think separate schemes is required. A bank can look into their area specific needs. That is my submission, sir.
Thank you. And now we have nearly 4 states, 2 state representatives and 2 SLBC representatives. May I request Karnataka to put across their viewpoints.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. No, Karnataka
State sides. So, good afternoon, sir. Manjunath, Commissioner SSLR. With me is also my colleague, will also be speaking after me, sir. Sir, from whatever we heard since morning, sir, there are certain things which come to my mind when we look at it, whether property card as a collateral can be used for bank financing. Is this the only document on which to rely upon, sir? I have my own doubt, sir. Because whether the due diligence which ought to be done before bringing somebody's name into the Swamitva property card is to be looked at, sir. As it was put up, sir, in the morning when the earlier map were there. This Gram Thane area was just a black hole. We never knew what was inside it until we started surveying under Swamitva. With that basic premise, sir, we started on our journey. And basically, the thing was we were to develop a map. We had to mark all the properties, and along the way, also resolution of disputes which come within the village, identifying private properties, public properties, the roads, canals, water bodies, etc. These were some of the things that we initially had thought of, sir. Maybe initially, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Bank financing, using property card as a bank financing must have been an afterthought. I don't know, was it part of the original thing?
No, it is
was
the
there.
original thought.
Okay.
We were the
But then, sir,
originators.
somebody said the property card had to be standardized across. If you see many of the property cards which are listed here, a cursory look in the annexure 2, where about 18 or 19 states cards have been given. Many of the data which the bankers are seeking are not there. Karnataka, at least, sir, Karnataka Land Revenue Act, Abadi area survey, there are various sections under which we are doing. Whether Swamitva PR card has been made a mandatory by the government, it is not yet done, sir, to make it a conclusive title to consider it. It is yet to be done. And registration of property cards also is not there. So our gentleman said Karnataka was one of the first states to computerize its land records. On the agriculture side, yes, sir, we have computerized land records. Whatever encumbrances which are there goes into the RTC column. Automatic mutations also figure come into, all that is there. On the Abadi area, sir, these are some of the challenges which are there. At least our property card, Karnataka, what we look at, we have column number 5 gives the details of mutation number. Column number 8 has encumbrances, lease, easement, other rights, etc. So to use this as the only document. Well, and another question is whether today somebody in the Abadi area having a property is being deprived of access to bank financing. No, in Karnataka they have been having access to bank financing based on the other title records which are there. Yes, of course, in the long run, Swamitva cards will also add to it, sir. So, the valuation of property, sir, again, along with the property card, other documents will have to be read through, like Form 2, which is the Panchayati has the details of the property, whether it is single storied, multi storied, type of roofing, etc. All that, sir. So basically, my thing is standardization, if at all, if not for Karnataka, at least we have built that in our property card. Across now that many states would have issued the various property cards already, distributed already. Another challenge that we are seeing, sir, between the draft property card and the final property card, there will be a drop. Drop is because, as you said, whether the property is on a legal footing, illegal footing, etc. And whether the person from the survey department is the person competent authority to look at this and then.
I think we will discuss
Yes, sir.
Swamitva processes separately.
Yes, sir.
Once you issued the property cards, whether they can rely on that is the issue. They should
The
rely on.
final property card, yes, sir. Of course, yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sir.
yeah. You want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I'll just go back to this agenda, sir. This current applicability of Surface Act, me as a deputy commissioner, I know I've passed such orders, but then most of them belong to urban areas. Even in rural areas, I got it checked while the session was going on. The rural area cases were like, somewhere the village is too big or semi-urban area, but not notified as urban area. We had very few such cases. So this will happen only when we have these Swamitva cards coming into being, and then in future, if the lending is more, then Surface Act will have a lot of significance. Second thing, sir, on the regulatory requirement for enforcing Surface Act, I think the requirements are already there. Only thing is with the introduction of Swamitva cards, I think what one needs to understand is it is issued by government. We have made amendments to the concerned acts and rules, and then only took this step. So I think we'll have a better system than what we already have. And already, third one is need for safeguarding the banker centers. As Chokalingam sir already said, there's more clarity in Swamitva property card. It has spatial data and non-spatial data. The spatial data with boundaries also is available now, and every change of ownership is maintained in the database, and history of all transactions are maintained. With this, I think at any stage you can go back to properties history and take some decision. And then coming to the new product, I think that is the banker's domain. Thank you. Great learning experience for me. It's my first such a meeting after joining the revenue department. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let us hear from SLBC Uttarakhand.
Good afternoon, everyone. In fact, this is my first interaction as far as Swamitva card is concerned after taking over as convener for Uttarakhand. So, what information as I have today of Uttarakhand, that is on 23rd July, we have 13 districts and 14,343 villages. The state has identified 2.78 lakh people who will be eligible for the Swamitva card. And out of that, 1.97 cards have already been issued, if I am not wrong. Only 81,000 are left now, and that too mainly in Hardwar district. So, in case of Uttarakhand, they have allotted QR code also, so identification makes it becomes much easier to identify the property. They have already also given an option to note charge through the Bulek portal, I think, same as it is done in UP for agricultural land. Uttarakhand has a difficulty in the sense that access to property being a difficult area, hilly area, will be one of the challenge. Demarcation of property will be another challenge, boundary from surfacey point of view. Then valuation, and normally in the bank we look for, if we are going for a housing loan, approval of some sort from a regulatory authority, say town planner or maybe municipal corporation or development authority, which in this case normally in rural areas some of the panchayats are doing map approval, but there is no guideline as such in Uttarakhand for that. So we will need clarification for this. And my friends have already shared various issues relating to SURFACE and other acts. I would request the government, both at the level as well as at the central level, wherever any gadget notification has been made relating to immovable property, because this scheme has to go far wide to places where may not get much information. They are dependent on internet search and all. If we can add immovable property, including Abadi land, that is the only amendment they have to do when it comes to surfacey action and all those things. And even when they have to approach the RT for applying for any remedy, the borrower or maybe the lender itself. So these are a few things which I feel if they are taken care of, then as far as scheme is concerned, banks can formulate their own scheme in a broader guideline which can be shaped by the government of India or the Reserve Bank of India, or the bank can incorporate this within their own schemes which they have presently been running along. Interest subvention is the decision of Central Government of India. So if they want to encourage it, they can always go for interest subvention.
Thank you. Thanks for that brief comments. May I request SLBC Rajasthan,
Yes, sir. Thank
Yes.
you.
please.
वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीबॉडी. हाँ फ्रेंड्स, सुबह से अपन डिस्कस कर रहे थे. एक्चुअली क्या है सर कि जो हम ये डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं उसका एक ही उद्देश्य है कि वी वांट टू popularize and get success of this scheme, the property card. So as my friends earlier told that in BKCC also there is a challenge of recovery, but we are happy to inform that we are at saturation point as far as the BKCC is concerned. So we are finding the borrowers whose land is not mortgaged, and as per DFS call always, we have been assigned the targets and we are achieving the targets. Even the recovery is not there. Okay. Then this animal husbandry camp that is also being achieved. Likewise ये भी हो जाएगा सर, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं. लेकिन अब इसको करें कैसे, दैट इज द इशू की स्टेट वाइज अलग अलग इशू है. जहां तक बात राजस्थान स्टेट की है सर, एट प्रेजेंट 33 district, now 50 has been came into the force. Out of at present whatever the 33 districts are there, we are having the 46,843 villages. But unfortunately, at present only 12 districts has been covered partially, and out of 46,843 villages, only and only 27,273 property count unit, and total property count 77,551 has been issued. Okay. Now the issue is coming
whether, since we are the banker and we wants to increase our credit portfolio, and when the DFS call is there, we are not having any second option to deny it, okay, like Swanidhi or anything, right? So the things is, we want our whatever money we are giving, the compliance. Recovery तो बात की बात है, पहले पहले compliance, okay? So as far as the KCC is concerned, always the on land, the lien is being noted by the government authorities, okay? So whether we can think about it, whatever the property card is there. So my friend earlier, Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh has been shown that the property card को online हम जो lien note कर लेते हैं. ये लियन नोट की जो वी विल अप्लाई फॉर द ऑनलाइन, बट लियन नोट की जो रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वो आप गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज पे डाल दीजिए. सो क्या होगा कि प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड में अगर बाय द कोई पेचेज है उनके इश्यूएंस में, तो दे विल टेक केयर. तो दे विल, इट विल गिव द कॉन्फिडेंस टू द बैंकर्स दैट यार लियन नोट गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटी ने कर लिया, इट मीन्स ऑल थिंग्स आर ओके. इट इज माय हम्बल सजेशन, फर्स्ट पॉइंट. सेकेंड पॉइंट सर, एज फार एज द वैल्यूएशन इज कंसर्न, जब हमारे को ये करना है, आज हम फार्मर्स को भी पैसा देते तो प्रोसेसिंग चार्जेस नहीं लेते, तो हम है जो उन पे वैल्यूएशन की बर्डन क्यों डालना चाह रहे हैं? वी शुड नॉट ऑब्टेन द वैल्यूएशन. वॉट एवर द वैल्यूएशन ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी इज कंसर्न, जब आपका ड्रोन उसको सब चीज देख रहा है और एरिया वाइज द कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड द लैंड, सो द गवर्नमेंट शुड फिक्स द नोटिफाइड वैल्यू कि यार अगर इतना फिट कंस्ट्रक्शन है तो ये आप वैल्यू मान सकते हैं, और अगर इतना लैंड का स्क्वायर मीटर या स्क्वायर यार्ड एरिया है तो आप इतना लैंड मान सकते हैं. तो उससे क्या है कि अल्टीमेटली कॉस्ट तो बोरोवर पे जाती है. बैंकर्स तो अगर वैल्यूएशन कराएंगे तो कॉस्ट उस पे जाएगी, तो वी कैन वेव द वैल्यूएशन चार्जेस एज फार एज दिस कंसर्न. और जहां तक मैंने पहले कहा था कि इफ वी कैन ट्रीट द प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड इज द ओनली लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट, in that case the bankers are not required to obtain the legal opinion also, because the property card itself is a legal document and it is being shown that he is the absolute owner of the property. So अगर बाई द उसने इसके बीच में उसको बेचा होगा, तो रजिस्ट्रार को भी हम ये कहें कि जब रजिस्ट्री वो कर रहा होगा तो प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड में उसका उल्लेख करेगा. एवरी डिपार्टमेंट को सर इनके इस वेरी यूनिक स्कीम के लिए, जिसमें कि हम उनकी इनकम को ग्रोथ करने की बात कर रहे हैं, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन की बात कर रहे हैं, तो एवरी डिपार्टमेंट शुड कम फॉरवर्ड विद द बैंकर्स कि वेन एवर द रजिस्ट्री इज गोइंग ऑन, तो प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड साथ में जाएगा, उसमें बाकायदा उसका वैल्यूएशन होगा. अब प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड अगर फेक हो गया तो क्या होगा? क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ हिंदुस्तान में ओरिजिनल प्रोडक्ट बाद में आता है, उसका डुप्लीकेट पहले आता है. तो प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड को वैलिडिटी चेक करने के लिए वेदर वी कैन थिंक टू गिव ए QR ऑन दैट प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड, पर्टिकुलर प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड, जिसको बैंकर चाहे या जो रजिस्ट्रार चाहे जो रजिस्ट्री कर रहा है वो उसको स्कैन कर लेगा, तो उसकी वैलिडिटी वहाँ कंफर्म हो जाएगी, हाँ इट इज द ओरिजिनल प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड. सो सर दीज आर द थिंग्स आई वांट टू एड समथिंग. बाकी तो काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें हो गई है सर. एक सरसाई रजिस्ट्रेशन के बारे में मेरे एक भाई ने बोला, RBI बैठी है, वेदर द सरसाई रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ दिस आबादी लैंड which is being declared as a non-agriculture land, it can be done if the unique number or whatever things are there. The other thing, sir, as far as this recovery is concerned, we are having in Rajasthan the Roda and Rako cases, okay, but we do not getting the help of the state governments as far as the recovery is concerned because of the certain political issues. So the bankers generally, no doubt, since it is a obligatory services, because farmers are the annadata, or our economy is totally based on the rural and the agriculture base. So we are still financing, even though in that particular village there are certain defaulters. But in that cases also we request to the government, state government, to help us in cases of the recovery cases. So it is from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for covering the issues elaborately. We'll discuss these issues, and as this is a last panel discussion, it is open for all of you to raise any issues which are remaining, or you feel that you want to respond to any of the issues which has been raised.
Sir, can I come in?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, whole day one issue from the banker side was the transferability or the sellability. As far as sellability, transferability, the law will, the enactment will provide the transferability. Sellability will be impacted not by the bankers, but by the buyers because there is no market present as of now. I mean, in case of home loans, there is an active market presence because of which we are able to sell or force sell the homes. As far as these land parcels are concerned, as of now, we don't have a market. So we need to look into that. Second, it's a suggestion. I mean, since morning, some of the state governments have two types of access. One is by way of either password ID or by way of API integration. If you are looking at scalability, then my suggestion is all the state governments can have common APIs, which can be, and we can have a central switch, uh, which the bankers can also access, either through RBI Innovation Hub or through any other switch you may decide because every bank has got differing ISD standards, information security. So integrating API is not as easy as it appears to. So we can work through a switch which will act as a medium between the states and the banks, where the banks can access through API exchange the data, see that this land parcel is clear, then queue loan, then charge also is noted. It is visible to all the banks because all the banks are through a switch exchanging API with all the state government land parcels. This is an end state, may not be at the start, but that is how we can approach this at a scalable understanding. Yes.
That's a very good suggestion. Maybe that will be part of the learnings for today. Any other suggestion?
गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल इनफैक्ट लंच से जस्ट पहले हम लोग जिस पॉइंट पे डिस्कस कर रहे थे वेदर द प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड इज द ओनली लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट और नॉट इट इज द प्राइमरी लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट एज फार एज द आबादी एरिया कंसर्न सेकेंडरी आफ्टर अगर कोई सेल परचेज होता है तो सेकेंडरी डॉक्यूमेंट बनेगा बट प्राइमरी लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट इज द ओनली दिस प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड जो कि किसी ओनर के पास है सेकेंड थिंग इन पॉइंट्स पे काफी डिस्कशन हुआ है बट अगेन इट्स जैसा पहले सेशन में भी एक बात हुई थी कि डिमांड ड्रिवन स्कीम है डिमांड फ्रॉम रूरल साइड एज वेल एज ये बैंकर्स की भी बैंकिंग सेक्टर की भी जिम्मेदारी है जो हमारे पास कॉन्सेप्ट नोट है ये कॉन्सेप्ट नोट ये बता रहा है IOI ऑल इंडिया डेप्ट एंड एडिक्वेट इन डेप्टनेस सर्वे 2021 says that about 35% incident of indebtedness in rural area compared to the 22% only in urban area. It also says the average value of asset owned by the rural household is grown by 35% compared to 18% only in urban area. मीन्स अगर हमारी फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन की कहीं पर पोटेंशियल है तो रूरल एरिया में है अगर हम 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की तरफ बढ़ना चाह रहे हैं तो हम इस आबादी को इस एरिया को उत्तराखंड की मैं बात करूं जहां पे 3 लाख हमारे पास पोटेंशियल कस्टमर आपके हैं जिनको कि आप कैप्चर कर सकते हैं थ्रू और जिसके थ्रू आप अपने बैंकिंग सिस्टम को आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं इंक्लूजन में अगर ये लोग इंक्लूड होते हैं फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन में देन दे विल कंट्रीब्यूट इन द आवर GDP एंड गो टू द 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी तो रिक्वेस्ट ये होगा कि जो प्राइमरी डॉक्यूमेंट की बात है हमें ये देखना है कि हम कैसे जैसे अभी राजस्थान से SLBC ने बहुत सही पॉइंट कहा कि गवर्नमेंट कह रही है तो हम तो इसको कर लेंगे लेकिन केवल कर लेंगे की बात नहीं है ये हमें चाहे वो इनोवेशन हब के थ्रू हम आगे बढ़े कि कैसे RBI इसको अपनी पॉलिसी में लेके आएगा सो दैट कि ऑल स्टेक होल्डर स्टेट एंड द बैंकर्स एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे आए और रूरल आबादी को रूरल जिन लोगों के पास प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड है अगर वो फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन में शामिल होना चाह रहे हैं नॉट ओनली द हाउस की उनको अपने अगेन मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ कि अपना घर बनाने के लिए लोन नहीं लेना है उनको अपनी इकोनॉमी को बढ़ाने के लिए लोन लेना है अपने अपने आप को कैसे इकोनॉमिकली फाइनेंशियली अपलिफ्टमेंट करने के लिए लोन लेना है वहां पे कोलेटरल के रूप में इसको यूज किया जाना चाहिए थैंक यू
Thank you. Any other comments?
सर अभी आपने जैसे कहा कि ये जो आबादी कार्ड है वो हमारा प्राइमरी डॉक्यूमेंट होगा और फर्दर ये सेल के बाद अदर डॉक्यूमेंट भी बनेंगे। अदर सेल के बाद मतलब सेल डीड होगा सर। तो सेल डीड होगा तो सर तो फिर तो मतलब कि फ्यूचर में उसके एनईसी की भी जरूरत पड़ेगी।
सॉरी,
उसके एनईसी की भी जरूरत पड़ेगी फ्यूचर में। सेल नॉन इनकम्बरेंस की सर।
Chalo. Let me respond to that. Basically, the entire British Empire came into two territories. One is depending on the model we are having. What is the land administration in our country? We feel that land is a state subject. Land is a state subject, but governed by central and concurrent law. What are the laws which are governing land? Transfer of Property Act, Contract Act, Registration Act, state legislation. Right? State legislation is only one part. It is a Transfer of Property Act which empowers you to mortgage the property, not the state law. State law simply says that I measure, I give an identification number, which repeatedly our colleagues told that we need an identification number. The best possible identification in this country is being provided by Swamitva. Today, if you travel on the road, you might have used your mobile while driving, and it must be showing the way where your vehicle is and where you are going. You must have noticed that when you are going on the service road, it will show it on the main road and vice versa. The problem is that the chip in your mobile accuracy is poor. 10 years down the line, the accuracy of your chip in your mobile will be so accurate you can use a Swamitva map to measure. Chip in your mobile can be used to measure. That is the accuracy of the maps which Survey of India is creating for this country. So this is the best identification you can have. There are many takeaways. One of the takeaways which I would suggest we should put it across is that while we are giving a textual property card, we should put the GIS behind that. You can see the building, as some of our colleagues told, that whether it is accessible or not, whether there is a road or not, this all can be seen with an accuracy of 100 times more than a Google map. The accuracy is 3 centimeter. So we can put it across and we can do that. Now coming back, what is the possibility of the property card being conclusive title? I'm seeing a lot of friends in conclusive title here, which some 4 or 5 people are fighting lonely battle. I request all of you join hands. If you get time, I'll request there may be another conference, maybe hosted by RBI itself, on conclusive land titling. That is a dream for some land administrator to come true. I never realized that this is a dream of the bankers also. Please do understand, in 1793, registration regulation was introduced in Fort William. The aim of the registration regulation, remember that it was a British East India Company. They cannot make laws for our countries, they made the regulations. They told that the purpose of registration regulation is to put it in public domain, private transaction, so that no one is cheated. This is the first Right to Information Act in the country. That private transactions are put in public domain so that I know whom to deal with. So who is the current owner? So we have two verticals, they remain two verticals. Registration Act remain as it is. You have to go to sub-registrar office to check the encumbrance. Let it be very clear to you. And the another thing is the land records. Yes, there are efforts to integrate them together, but till there is land titling, they are not going to sit together legally. Now, what are you having in the property card or in the Katauni? What is called presumptive title. So that is why I am little surprised to see that this is the property card as conclusive title. Sorry, there is no conclusive title. This is presumptive title. But let me explain, this is not a presumptive title in the lowest possible meaning of the term, which is a dictionary meaning. We say that presumptive means it is only presumed. Please read Evidence Act, which says that what is the meaning of presumed to be true? Means it is presumed to be true till controverted. So someone has to prove in the court
that this property card is wrong, not otherwise. Just someone coming and standing says that no, your property card is wrong, I am the owner. That is not a challenge, acceptable challenge. He has to fight in the court for 20 years minimum to prove your property card otherwise. So till the time all our land records in the country have presumed to be true. So it is as strong as possible you can have in these nearly 200 countries of the world. You are not lawyer, right? So no, there is no doubt about the property card being a land record. It is presumed to be true till controverted. Please go ahead. There are many issues which we have learned today. We will take it up. This about unconditional right of transfer. I am not able to understand because once there is a mortgage, if there is a failure of the mortgage under SARFAESI Act, you can take possession and you can ask for your name to be entered, then you can sell. Yes, there is an issue. Marketability of these properties. So you are working in your field banking, you are working in computer systems. Any software comes with something called known issues. Both TCS and Infosys must have told you there are known issues. Every scheme has known issues. This is one of the known issues. Marketability of the rural housing will be an issue because it is not as easy. You are not anonymous like an urban city. So you will have issues. We have to work within that. And there were other points which are raised like charge creation. Charge creation, yes, it is a pain except few states. As our colleague suggested, let us work on a common switch putting all the banking system on the one hand, like their NFS works. We can have a switch where all the states can give the data and banks can interact together. It's a very good idea. I request RBI to, we are sitting in the same state, we can sit together and we can do some model for the country. The recovery issues, yes, as pointed out, we have recovery issues. As far as this meeting is concerned, we can only suggest that the decision of lending or not lending is yours. There is no scheme to force down your throat in this meeting. This is only an enabling meeting to make it clear that this property is as good as any other property. In fact, this property is better than all your apartments and flats. Let me tell you, when I was IGR, one day one banker walked in and he told that, sir, एक ही आदमी एक फ्लैट को 3 बैंक को मॉर्गेज किया है on the same day. He was so intelligent. He made 3 banks to do encumbrance certificate at the same time. So you get a clear title. Went ahead and mortgaged the same property one after another on the same day. Right? Because at the time, most of the states were not having online mortgaging systems. Nowadays, we have online systems. But we have to work more towards that. As some of our people repeatedly told, there is money in the bottom of the pyramid. You must have read, and all private sector is running towards rural area. And this is time for us also run into rural area to find out what is the potential of this to expand your market. My colleague Chandresh Kumar repeatedly told about the business potential. May I request you to read, if you get a chance, a book called The Mystery of Capital. Because a lot of you are speaking about land titling also and conclusive titling. This you can call it as a Bible or Gita of land titling, called the Mystery of Capital by D. Soto. What he says is that every property has 2 lives. One life is the enjoyment of the property. That as owner, I enjoy that property, I occupy, I live. But the other life is its capacity to generate capital. His interpretation is that all the Western capitalism succeeded not because of they are better, not because they are efficient, not because of the climate is better. We read many a time that climate is better, they can work for longer hours, we are not able to work for longer hours. He says that wherever good quality property records exist, wherever the economy uses the same property to create another set of capital,
The same property is being used, the same property is creating capital for the people to grow and the economy to grow. And that is where our country is lacking. That is what is, he is not speaking about our country, he is speaking about the countries which used the property to create capital or the countries which have succeeded in capitalism. De Soto, D and SOTO, the mystery of capital. Going further, Haryana title deed, you mentioned about certain conditions. We have to speak to the government, sir, to see they are confirming the ownership. They have no right to put any conditions. If they are putting any condition, we have to take up with the government of Haryana that they should not put condition that it can be mortgaged only for particular purpose and other things. Yes, stamp duty. State governments will be happily increasing the value of the property when there is a demand from people like you and when there is a demand from the people per se. In fact, there is a contrary pressure from the lobby of developers not to increase the rates. And fortunately, this area there is no builders as such or the developers as such putting pressure. It's a great opportunity for all the registration departments. Actually, the proceedings can go saying that the value is really low, the people are not getting the value to their property. The states will be very happy to increase the value of the property. It's a win-win situation. Win for you, win for the people, and win for the state to do that. Let us work toward that. He is already working on that. He overheard us before we attended the meeting. Then registered mortgage we have discussed. Then tight integration. We always have a communication gap. When I was settlement commissioner, we made API integration with the banks a possibility. We entered into MOUs with 4 or 5 banks. Then it stopped at that level. We told that, see, we speak about originality of the document. You spoke about barcode. When you enter a railway station, he doesn't check your originality of your ticket. When you walk into airport today, he is not asking for originality of your air ticket. What does he check? He checks his database. वो PNR number उनका database में नहीं है क्या नहीं? He is not bothered about the paper you are carrying. He is bothered about the whether your data, your name and the PNR exist in the database. All the states have moved to that level. The barcodes and other things do not matter. The heart of the matter is that whether that property exists in my database. It's similar to you. How is customer exist in your database today? Is a customer number, account number, हो गए इतनी existing है. So only thing is that whether we are able to integrate tightly as suggested, that you are able to see whether the property is mortgaged, available freely, and you put your mortgage and do that. In fact, you people are doing it for crop loans already. I have seen crop loans being given after the encumbrance is created. They tell the people आप create करके आ जाओ, loan taken, उसके बाद loan disperse करते हैं, sanction करते हैं, encumbrance create करते हैं, उसके बाद loan देते हैं. I mean, there are ways and ways of working out that, and I understand that these are the issues which we are lacking. How to procedurally make it easier, and as one of our colleagues told that it is not the stamp duties which is very important, it's the pain of making a registered mortgage. You go to sub-registrar, you stand there. In fact, anyone who worked in Maharashtra, you will know that if you are doing a rental agreement, leave and license, you need not go to sub-registrar office. You can sit anywhere in the world as long as your Aadhaar is functional. You can rent your flat sitting anywhere in the world. Maybe similar thing should happen here. It is something which is a takeaway for us to make easier for the people to mortgage their property under Swamitva or for that matter anything. Then SOPs, yes, very important. Some of you asked whether property card can be made as a only final document. Legally, no, because property card is again creating a presumptive document, right? The property document is there, created yesterday. Today there is a sale in the sub registrar office. It will take 15 days to get reflected in the record. So as on today, you have to look into both registry as well as a property card. Caveat emptor, we have not gone to the land titling where the government says that who is the owner. Caveat emptor, which is a buyer beware or mortgager beware, is applies even today till we go to a new legal system. Flow of title of the past, some of you raised. When we do a survey, we don't get into flow of title. Flow of title is looked into only when there is a dispute. If the person who is holding record, let us explain how the survey is done and why only Abadi is taken. Abadi is taken because it is easiest to do, because we are converting possession into ownership or holdership for that matter. If you go to for a resurvey, our colleagues from Gujarat will understand, when the resurvey is undertaken, you have to reconcile possession with historical data, which never matches. So Abadi is taken because we are converting possession into ownership. It's a surveyor's delight or any administrator's delight. So we have done that. We don't get into flow of anything in the past. But let me clarify, what are you going to do? A search in this property card. Search is not ruled out. Search has to be taken. That is exactly with Maharashtra we are discussing about an SOP. What will you search? Registration Act, आप मालूम होगा रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट डीड देखा होगा, उसमें बाउंड्री लिखता है, ईस्ट में है, वेस्ट में है. दैट इज अ वेरी हिस्टोरिकल बिगिनिंग. दिस बाउंड्रीज केम बिफोर सर्वे नंबर्स वेर क्रिएटेड. वो सर्वे नंबर, दिस बाउंड्रीज आर नॉट नीडेड. सर्वे हो गया 100 साल हो गया, फिर भी हम लोग लिखते हैं बाउंड्री, बिकॉज वी हैव फॉरगॉटन दैट सर्वे नंबर्स हैव बीन क्रिएटेड. So why this boundary is mentioned is that to know east, west, which are the properties to identify. Now, this document has to be verified as well as this your document, both need to be verified before going further. Enactments, somehow still I am not very clear. 4 enactment rule this, and with your surface, let us say that 5 acts rule, that Transfer of Property Act, Contract Act, Registration Act, State Land Revenue Code and Surface Act. This is a spectrum. Today we are covering anything. CERSAI, as per my knowledge, because we used to interact with CERSAI MD and Chairman very regularly, because one of your colleagues only get posted and sit there. CERSAI has nothing but takes the parameters from the state and puts it there. In fact, I don't want to make that formal comment, saying that their identification of property is much lower than the identification of property by the states. It's very difficult to identify the property by the parameters given in CERSAI Act, unless until they have improved in the last 2-3 years. They have PIN code and survey numbers.
Sir, CERSAI is a part of Surface Act. Now, without CERSAI, Surface is not, what you call in DRT, they are not taking the cases.
I agree.
That way it is mandatory.
No, I am not telling that CERSAI is not mandatory. I am saying that CERSAI will automatically get applied. You can put your mortgages there. It is mandatory for you. Unless until the states go and tell that CERSAI is not applicable to the state, the states are entitled to do when they are clear that their registration is fully complete. No state has gone there as of now. But that is not issue today. CERSAI is compulsory. You have to enter for this property also.
Tell them about intimation to the sub registry.
Yeah, another thing is that, sir, one of the thing which we can take it forward is that to have an amendment in the Registration Act, the central level. Registration Act is a concurrent act where the central government also makes amendments and state also makes amendments. So, Government of Maharashtra made amendment, Gujarat made amendments, whereby the even equitable mortgages can be intimated, not necessary to register, it can be intimated. There can be amendment in the Registration Act. Our colleagues in Department of Land Resources, MORD, can be requested, and this can be done. But let me tell you one more thing. In Registration Act, there is a voluntary I mean, if you want to explore that possibility, there is a voluntary intimation to registrar. It is there. Section 17 and 18, one is compulsory, another one is voluntary. Even if it is not compulsory, you can intimate so that anyone doing a search will come to know that there is an encumbrance. E-platform, APA we have discussed, single sheet, easy to do mortgages is something we should work on. Another known issue is multiple ownership. Yeah, I mean, your agriculture lands will get divided, but the home will be in the name of 10 people or 20 people. I mean, there is no solution. Again, it is a known issue that unless until those many people consent to that, you cannot extend the loan. This whether it is a productive loan or consumer loan, the property that is left to the concerned bank to look into whether he is taking loan for a productive purpose or consumption purpose. Accordingly, how much loan to be given, you can look into that. But let me tell you very clearly that this is the best geographical information system possible under the sun today compared to any other country, not just our country. Compared to any other country, it has accurate 3 centimeter accuracies to identify a property. Let me tell you that the biggest your housing loan portfolio is in a land record black hole. Your flat numbers are nowhere mentioned in our land records. Your apartment numbers are nowhere mentioned in our land records. Someone can give the same number or different number to the same flat and mortgage. Be clear. Someone can give different number to the same flat and mortgage. None of our system will know because we have not created land records. This is not to say that I am not to threaten or something. This is time for us to create vertical property records. This is just to point out that you have much better record in Swamitva on the horizontal. And some of us again working on the vertical property records. Maharashtra has published the rules. They are yet to be finalized. Gujarat has taken some baby steps. You already have. Before asking for any other question, let me tell you that with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, some of us are working to create a land record system for Delhi. For information, whatever is your loan portfolio in Delhi, there is no land record worth the name in Delhi. Forget Swamitva. There is not even a proper Kathaun in Delhi. Except 27 villages. Except 27 villages out of 357 villages in Delhi, there are no land records at all. And we are happy about our house loan portfolio in Delhi. You will face, and hopefully we are going to resolve, we are going to make a presentation to the highest leadership in another 10-15 days, and I am deeply involved in creating a land records. It's all part of the regulatory issues, the same thing which you people mentioned. We made it so difficult that people went into power of attorney. We cannot blame the people. So I was told by Delhi administration that there is no formal procedure of conversion of agriculture to non-agriculture. If they are not having a procedure, they will do everything illegal. So there are issues, but let me tell you with whatever knowledge I have acquired in this field, Swamitva is has the best possible land record and spatial record. No other record can identify the property as good as Swamitva record. Unfortunately, it may not be shown to you. Maybe you have to make a proper presentation to you, to your people. Next SLBC, we can instruct that the type of quality of land records available in Swamitva can be shown to the banker to make it very clear. Is there any other issue you want to discuss? Which one? It is in progress.
So, like he said somewhere along the line, that land is a state subject. So, we had offered this scheme to the states. A few states did not sign up at all. One was Tamil Nadu. No, Tamil Nadu signed up, but they didn't go beyond the pilot state, saying that they had their own legacy records, and it was difficult to reconcile them with the records being created under Swamitva. West Bengal said a similar thing, though I'm not sure of that. Bihar also said that they have got 1:1000 scale maps. Again, that's not something that we are sure of. Meghalaya and Nagaland didn't sign up. Telangana didn't go beyond the initial pilot 5 villages because they say that they are going to do this on their own. And in Odisha, they've given us only 3,500 villages. कि बाकी में वो बता रहे हैं उनके पास कुछ ना कुछ होता है. So if you add these and Assam, we have only about 1,348 villages that are given to us because all the others they either have a record or they have no records. For their autonomous district councils, they don't know what Abadi area is. So either we fly over the entire area or we don't fly at all. So that is how we end up with 3.62 lakh villages approximately.
Tamil Nadu, for your information, has records for each and every piece of land, each and every piece of property, because that has been done in earlier time. Odisha, interestingly, contrary to British survey system which left out Abadi land, somehow Odisha did survey of all the lands. So Odisha also has, except few villages, they have records for Abadi lands from the beginning. Some of the states like Northeast, you have a problem of community lands. They don't own their lands individually. It's owned by the community. So it is not measurable and identifiable by individuals. So apart from this, there are 2-3 states left out which needs verification, but otherwise rest is handled.
Yeah.
The Reserve Bank has to respond whether when they are calling the land titling or not. You have to breathe in.
I request NABARD as well as RBI, when we get time, we can sit together on land titling, if, as a, or maybe even with IBA and DFS also, we can sit across the table on this issue, which is very important for both banking sector as well as for individuals. But there are two schools of thought. That is why it is not moving ahead. We'll discuss about that later. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
big round of applause for this session. I think we are getting somewhere.
Thank you, sir. So the slowly we were moving towards the best, and the best was the last. Last was the best actually, क्योंकि शुरू से लेकर अभी तक जो डिस्कशन चल रहे थे उसका जो सारांश बोलते हैं, सारांश इस टॉपिक में था, और इसी के साथ हमारा थर्ड सेशन कंप्लीट हुआ और हम लोग अब अंतिम चरण की ओर प्रस्थान कर रहे हैं, जिसमें मैं बर्ड बर्ड के ऑफिसर इंचार्ज, जो भी हमारे ऑफिसर इंचार्ज और एकेडमिक इंचार्ज हैं, डॉक्टर श्री राम अपलिंगम सर से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो समाप्त करें. सर.
धन्यवाद संजीव. वैसे तो मेरा काम काफी आसान चोकलिंगम सर ने ऑलरेडी कर दिया है. आई थिंक ही हैज टेकन अ बल्क ऑफ द वर्क ऑफ समिंग अप. Let us just try to look at today's deliberations. Probably at the apex level, we had Ministry of Panchayati Raj and Department of Financial Services. We had also with us the regulator, Reserve Bank of India. Participants, government departments from about 10 states, SLBC conveners of about 9 states, and representatives from 16 banks. मतलब probably जो एक हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव था ये राउंड टेबल ऑर्गेनाइज करने का या एक पब्लिसिटी करने का, शायद इससे बेहतर मेरे ख्याल से उद्देश्य की पूर्ति शायद संभव नहीं थी. Probably when we started off in the morning, let me just try to recollect some of the things. Most of the points Choklingam sir has already covered. See, when we started off in the morning, what we were trying to look at was whether Swamitva, the property card, this particular scheme can be used as a vehicle for deepening rural credit. That was one of the issues which we had thought of. And whether there needs to be a uniformity or there is a felt need for change in the format of the property cards. The other aspects which we are looking at in the morning was probably linking the Abadi cards with formulation of different banking schemes. And last but not the least, capacity building, as our director sir had pointed out. Probably this was again one concern I think which came up through different panel discussions. हमारे जेएस साहब ने जब स्टार्ट किया था, he explained I think that was the best point of starting was the entire objective behind this particular scheme was to have a document that is dispute free. And I think with the different panel discussions, I think a broad consensus has emerged at least how we can make it dispute free. A lot of issues, operational issues are bound to be there given the different state legislations in place. Kyunki like Chokalingam sir has rightly pointed out, it has a mix of both the state and central issues. I think with the regional differences and regional imbalances, there are bound to be differences. But I think like some of the aspects that came today, like having a QR code based system was something that can be examined. A uniform system of for application or a uniform system for having that property cards. I think these are some of the key takeaways. And not waste much time given the time limitations. What probably that has come up as a part of today's discussions is at least we are agreed that there are certain issues which can be taken up through consensus and can be resolved through consensus. I think that with that objective, I think largely uh, on behalf of Bird, we feel that the objective behind organizing this roundtable has been a success. So before I just wind up, one last thing again, I would just like to, because time and again, I think two issues that were raised by both bankers and government department is यदि ये स्कीम को चलानी है तो इसको पॉपुलर बनानी है और इसको पॉपुलर बनाना है तो two things repeatedly came. One was about the marketability of that and the second was creating an awareness. I think probably we are in the best place. We will definitely be Bird, on behalf of Bird, I assure you that we will be available to address these two issues. So thank you.
Thank you, sir, Siram sir. Now, I will request Joint Secretary, sir, to show us the way forward and conclude the program. Sir.
Thank you very much. We've had a day of learning and we've also made some progress. I felt that the states and the SLBCs, wherever they'd spoken to each other the most, were better off than others that had not. So while we may oblige, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. While we can oblige you to make this an agenda item in your SLBC meetings, we can't force you to talk to each other once every month or once every 2 months. And really, I think we should be failing in our duty, not just by virtue of the instructions that have been passed on to us, but also by way of what we owe टू ऑल दीज पीपल 5 करोड़ जो मैंने प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड बोला था वो बोला था कि फाइनली जब सारे गांव हो जाएंगे तब उतना रहेगा राइट नाउ वी स्टैंड एट अबाउट 1.5 सो जस्ट टॉक टू ईच अदर मोर एंड मोर गुजरात में आपने बुला के अलग सी एसएलबीसी जैसी कर डाली है आपने अपने लेवल पे महाराष्ट्र में आपने सबको बुला के वैसे किए सारे लोग इस तरह से करें तो कम्युनिकेशन इज स्वामित्व में मैं बस कम्युनिकेशन ही कर रहा हूँ I'm not from this land records thing. I'm an engineer who came to be in forest service, who came to be in panchayat raj. I don't have a clue about what's going on. But really, the what I did was I brought all these people together. There was Survey of India, there were land revenue people, there were Panchayat Raj people, and that's how we could move forward. I have a meeting once every week, and that is how I am aware of a few things. So just talk to each other. That is the most important thing. By way of telling you that how we should proceed, सबसे पहले तो खूब सारी बात करिए और आपस में बुला के मैं रेवेन्यू के जहाँ पे 9 स्टेट से अपने पास लोग आए हैं तो आप सब लोगों को कम से कम यू नीड टू बी टॉकिंग एज मच एज यू कैन and talking constructively and getting somewhere. This platform today gives us a sense of what all are we lacking. And so progressively we need to work towards that. मैं भी कुछ इसके बाद कुछ follow up करूंगा so that over the next 2-3 months we are able to get where we intend. The MP system is something worth emulating, and rather than take the DOLR route, I think I will first request the state, because the last time I spoke to DOLR, I was in a quagmire. हमने उनसे वो कोशिश की थी एक चीज कराने की ना, वो क्या सेल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट में कुछ एक चीज ना, द conditions would apply non-obstant clause वगैरह. So the other thing that we are going to record is there can be a voluntary sharing of this information with the sub registry, or you could do this in every state. You could seek the president's assent, prior consent, and then based on that, you could make these changes to your state chapter of this act. तो एमपी का सिस्टम अच्छा है. इंटीमेशन टू सब रजिस्ट्रार, दिस इज समथिंग दैट ऑल ऑफ द स्टेट हेड शुड स्टार्ट डूइंग. एंड स्टैम्प ड्यूटी rationalization, like the people in, if you have a good document and you have a great deal of reliance on this by virtue of the systems that exist, by virtue of your ability to get there, by virtue of your ability to find out if there is a boja on that property currently or not. So that gives you more and more confidence. आपको बहुत ज्यादा कोई लिटिगेशन नहीं करनी, बड़े कोई नोटिस नहीं देने, वो हाय तौबा नहीं मचानी, ढिंडोरा नहीं पीटना. So once you don't have to do all these things, your confidence in being able to make your recovery increases, and that is when you can make do with a lower registration fee. So there is every reason why one should initiate that discussion in each of your states. So that is something I felt was a takeaway. Common database through API, if we because while the property card formats vary from state to state enormously, but there are some basic fields that are there in all these cases, and I think you would want the information in respect of these 3 or 4 fields to be pushed to this switch. So we can take that forward, we can work on that. और आप बताइए क्या होगा, कैसे, कहाँ से करेगा, वी कैन ऑर्गेनाइज दैट. आई थिंक राजस्थान अकेले ऐसे हैं जिनका अभी सिस्टम नहीं है, पंजाब का कुछ बन चुका है, हिमाचल इज वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, but otherwise all states have got this on a central system, and this API thing is not going to be a challenge. So my sense also through all this discussion is that there is no further enactment that is needed. जैसा जिन कागजों के अगेंस्ट आप अभी चीजें दे रहे हैं, ये उसी प्रकार का एक कागज है, ये उसी कानून से फ्लो करता होता है, with the exception of the states of Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, who have put in a, and they are not here today for this reason. So these 2 states had a separate act taken out for the Abadi area, and other than that बाकी सारी जगह ये कानून आ चुका है. और बताइए किसी को कोई अभी इसमें ऐतराज है तो, लेकिन मेरे को नहीं लगता कि जिस चीज के ऊपर आप जिस कागज के बूते पे आप ऑलरेडी किसी चीज को लोन दे रहे होते हैं, सो देर इज नो रीजन दैट यू शुड बी रिफ्यूजिंग अगेंस्ट दिस वन. और वो टाइटल प्रिजम्पटिव जो भी कुछ है, बट आई थिंक इट इज ऑन पार with the records that you have in respect of other land parcels. So my sense is that nothing further is needed. A query was raised about the navigability of the property parcel that we are going to be there. So all these maps that are being prepared by Survey of India, they are, in the best case they are 2 centimeters, in the worst case they are 5 centimeter accuracy maps. These maps are we've currently got information for 37,000 villages. This information is already there in a portal called grammanchitra.nic.in, and typically paths and parcel sizes are captured. Some of the states do not capture the covered area as an attribute. Maharashtra does that. A lot of other states are doing it, but not every state. These maps are already there and they can be used. They are very accurate geo-referenced maps. In fact, based on these maps, आपको ये बड़ी सारी boundary का भी issue आ रहा था. The boundary can't be clearer than what it is in the case of Swamitva maps. Anywhere in the world, like he said, this is Google Earth Pro accuracy. You can see the number on a license plate. So 1:500 scale के maps हैं. These are very good. So that thing is also there. We can find a way of pushing this information onto platforms that banks would need or whatever, or you could be looking into these maps. On the issue of whether we need a separate scheme or not, opinion was divided, and the point made by UBI कि इस asset के साथ कुछ ऐसा करें जिससे उससे कुछ आमदनी भी आती रहे. तो वो एक बात थी जो थोड़ी सी अलग सी थी. बाकी तो सबने यही बोला कि a lot of you felt that no separate scheme is necessary, and in your list of existing schemes you need to add Swamitva property card as an acceptable document. Is that right? No? So I think that was the majority view, and I will run it by the director Bird once again because it was his idea. We are not just talking about home loans here, we are talking of all manner of loans, you know. So either you have a suite of schemes, you know, just coming out of Swamitva property card, or wherever you have schemes separately, you insert Swamitva property card as an eligible document. So I think that should do. I don't know who's going to do that. Is it something that the banks initiate, or is it something that the DFS can ask them to do? तो वी कैन लुक एट दैट कि स्वामित्व को मान लें, अगर कंडीशनल मान लें जैसा आपको. सो द फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ दिस स्कीम वाज दैट देयर वुड बी लेसर नंबर ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स. So our minister wrote to the Minister for Law and Justice, and Minister for Law and Justice has written to the registrars of all state high courts saying that Swamitva property card is going to be a valid document in the settlement of any kinds of disputes. So that is the kind of thing that we were looking for DFS also to do. But the next best thing can be that through this discussion and further discussions, if the SLBCs can own this more and resolve their differences and insert Swamitva property card as an eligible document, that should do. एक था कि डिमांड कितनी होगी और क्या होगा ना. तो एक मेरे को लाइन याद आ रही थी, निकोलस स्टर्न की होती थी, स्टर्न कमेटी रिपोर्ट ना, कम्युनिज्म फेल बिकॉज द या the value, economical value was not reflected in the prices. और फिर कोई कहता था कि दिस इकोलॉजिकल वैल्यू नहीं रिफ्लेक्ट होगा तो भी कर जाएंगे. सो लाइकवाइज वी कांट बी क्रिएटिंग आर्टिफिशियल वैल्यू. We'll need to assign values what they are to begin with, but then the frequency with which we revisit these prices is something that we would need to do so that there is a positive, there is a virtuous cycle and things improve over a period of time. और शुरू में तो फिर आप वही असेस करेंगे, वो 2 रुपए की होगी तो 2 ही बताएंगे यार, उसमें 200 थोड़ी कर देंगे. बट वी नीड टू मेक अ बिगिनिंग. We have noted down, but I'll run it by you once before we finalize the proceedings. The state-wise list of what are the things that we feel you need to do, because that would set the agenda in the, because all of us are answerable. The secretary DFS has to answer to the cabinet secretary, as has my secretary, and so and we are all in this system. Yeah. So we will need to hasten our actions. This is not a one-off thing. and it will continue until we achieve all these objectives. सरफेस के बारे में आपने लगभग बता ही दिया है कि उसमें सब जगह एप्लीकेबल है ना, कोई इशू नहीं है. एंड विद द आरबीआई दिस स्विच दैट वाज बीइंग स्पोकन अबाउट सर.
Sir, actually, I would like to update sir about the status sir. We are updating a pilot sir. तो जैसा कि अभी डिस्कस हुआ सर, हम उसी वे में काम कर रहे हैं सर कि आरबीआई विल क्रिएट अ काइंड ऑफ स्विच सर. सो सभी बैंकर्स को बुला के सर हमने पहले फील्ड्स को फ्रीज किया सर कि सभी बैंकर्स क्या क्या फील्ड चाहते हैं ना. इन द सेम वे वर्किंग सर. अभी एक हो गया देन
तो क्या है इसमें, कोई ग्रुप किस कोई बंदे आइडेंटिफाई करिए, हु इज गोइंग टू बी द नोड फ्रॉम विच ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सो दैट वी कैन पुट इट टुगेदर. इज देयर या
आई थिंक फ्रॉम आरबीआई साइड आई थिंक इट विल बी बेटर क्योंकि जो स्ट्रक्चर है इट इज फाइनल. सभी बैंक का जो स्टेट में थे सर उन सबकी के साथ बैठ के फील्ड को फाइनल किया गया.
आपसे पूछ लेंगे एक बार कि किसको इसके लिए बताना है वो चीज. जी हाँ, तो वही वो फील्ड्स क्या है, वो फिर बेसिकली कंप्यूटर वालों का काम है ना, इन्होंने वो एपीआई बना के दे देनी है, आपने वो कंज्यूम करनी है और वो चल पड़ेगा. जी चलिए बहुत बढ़िया. आरआरबीज ने अच्छी इनपुट्स दी, बल्कि आपने थोड़ा सा निराश किया क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र में जो लीडिंग लोन गिवर्स होते हैं वो तो सारे रूरल बैंक्स हैं, बल्कि हमारे मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट के बोलते होते हैं कि ये नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स तो सारे ऐसे ही हैं जो सारा काम कर रहे हैं वो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स कर रहे हैं. सो यू वुड बी लीडिंग द चार्ज.
Sure, sir. RRB will play active role in UP, sir. We assure you, sir.
है ना.
Yes, sir.
बिल्कुल.
रिगार्डिंग राजस्थान सर, राजस्थान के लिए आप कह रहे थे एक्चुअली सर, इन रिसेंटली कंक्लूडेड एसएलबीसी मीटिंग ऑन 17th. We are repeatedly requesting to the respective government departments, but the progress is not there. So, sir, we request you please your kind intervention in the matter, sir.
ठीक है. Thank you and thanks to Bird for putting all this together. आपने बोला कि कामयाब हो गई. यहाँ पे तो केसीसी जैसा कुछ होना होगा तब मैं कामयाब मानूंगा इसको. सवेरे आपके डायरेक्टर साहब बोल कर गए थे, तो इसमें और काम करने की ज़रूरत है, उस पर वर्क करिएगा. Even outside this workshop, I will request you if you can, because the germ is there and it can grow if it is being fed by inputs from all around. Just work on that. जो भी कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं, चाहे एसओपी कह रहे हैं, चाहे स्कीम में क्या संशोधन करने हैं, या एफएक्यूज मेरे को उत्तराखंड ने बताया कि हमारे पास इस तरह की बड़े सारे इफ बट आएंगे. यहाँ पे तो सब लोग बड़े पॉजिटिव हैं, नीचे पहुंचेंगे और नीचे पहुंचते पहुंचते बड़ा जॉन्डिस्ड व्यू ऑफ लाइफ होता चला जाएगा. सो वन नीड्स टू बी रेडी फॉर दैट और उसका हमें जवाब देना होगा. सो बिल्कुल डिमांड तो खड़ी कर देना, फिर वहां पे लोग लेने पहुंचेंगे तो वहां पे मना कर देंगे सारे लोग, बैंक वाले. डिमांड तो लोग अभी चल पड़े लोग तुरंत, है ना. वो तो हमने एक बार बस छोड़ना है. मैं बता रहा था अभी लंच टाइम कुछ लोगों को कि हमें तो ये बोला गया है कि द बैंक्स नीड टू बी प्रेजेंट एट द टाइम द प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड्स इज बीइंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. हमने कहा प्रेजेंट क्यों होंगे स्कीम के बारे में बताने के लिए. उन्होंने कहा नहीं, प्रेजेंट होंगे लोन देने के लिए.
एक बार तहसील दिवस में कह दिया जाएगा सर.
हाँ, तो वहां से तो इस तरह का है कि अभी तक शुरू क्यों नहीं हुआ. तो जो भी कुछ कमी पेशी है वो अपनी तरफ से है, उसे हम ही लोगों ने दूर करना है. So please work towards that and thank you Cho. So he's come here at 1 week's notice. Professor Cho I call him. He always adds value to any kind of discussion that we are having. Those of you who have got doubts, who feel that there is a query, who needs to reach out to somebody, he's your man. मैं मेरे से भी पूछेंगे तो मैं आप उधर ही डायरेक्ट कर दूंगा आपको. So thank you for being here. Thank you to all the officers that have come. Uttarakhand, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, सब लोग आए. तो आप ऐसा बोलेंगे तो इस तरह के कोई एक दो ऑफ साइट कहीं कहीं और भी किए जा सकते हैं. बट अगर आप लोग आपस में बात करने चले जाएं तो उससे अच्छा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. सो दैट वाज माय रिक्वेस्ट एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच. वे फॉरवर्ड से कुछ ज़्यादा ही बोल गया मैं. लेकिन ये सब चीज़ें ज़रूरी हैं. मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि जो गवर्नमेंट की हमारे को हिदायत है वो क्या है और वो किस इंटेंसिटी की हिदायत है. तो अगर उसमें हम जरा सा भी कोई कोताही कर रहे हैं, वी आर डूइंग इट एट आवर ओन पेरिल. थैंक यू.
So, on behalf of, Bird, we thank you, Joint Secretary Sir, to give us this chance to host this roundtable discussion, and we thank all the participants who come here, participated, and थैंक यू. और आप लोग जो जिनको जिनको व्हीकल चाहिए जाने के लिए ऑलरेडी हमारे रिसेप्शन पे अवेलेबल कराया हुआ है. सिर्फ आप अपना टाइम बता देंगे किस समय जाना है, ताकि आपको व्हीकल वहां से अवेलेबल करवा दिया जाएगा. वो अरेंज कर देंगे. अरेंज ऑलरेडी एक्चुअली आया हुआ है, व्हीकल आए हुए हैं. सिर्फ आपको इन्फॉर्म कर देना है टाइमिंग, ताकि वहां मैनेज कर दे सकें वो टाइम.
एक चीज और, I'd like the team from MOPR and the Bird who were involved in this workshop to please stand and take a bow. Yeah, these people have done a very good job. Thanks.
टी इज आउटसाइड. बाहर चाय आप लोगों के लिए है, कृपया चाय भी पीते जाएं. बाहर चाय अरेंज किया गया है, चाय बाहर आप लोगों के लिए.